When you first open Maplestory and need to choose your world/character to play on, the game itself does not do a good job of telling you the differences between everything. In this video, you'll learn how to choose the right world for you and what character to play. You are first greeted with an option of either playing on the North American server or European server. The NA server has a much larger player base, so it's easier to meet more people and progress together. On the contrary, since there's more people, it means more maps are going to be full and it could be harder to find a place to train during peak hours. The NA server is also located on the west coast of the United States, so if you are located far away from there, you'll have ping issues. The European server has a smaller player base, but an actively growing one. There is definitely a significant enough player base to still meet people and progress together on it. It's also easier to get maps due to the smaller player base. The server is located in Berlin, so if you live near there, you shouldn't have any ping issues. Once you've chosen your server, you'll notice there's a bunch of different worlds to choose from. Essentially, there are two different world types to choose from: reboot and non-reboot. So what are the differences between the two? The reboot server is by far the most popular server to play on. It's much easier to progress on reboot as a free-to-play player. Reboot also has a higher miso multiplier, so it's easier to make your own gear and enhance it on reboot. Accessing all the content in the game is also easier on reboot. What that means is that given the same amount of time playing on each server, on average, the reboot player will have progressed further. Also, with a much larger player base comes with a lot more people to meet and experiences to have. You also cannot trade in the reboot server. This means that all your gear that you progress on one character is stuck on that character forever. So if you want to start another character, you're essentially starting from scratch every time. I myself have been a reboot player since release and I don't regret it at all. Non-reboot servers have their benefits as well though. If you're someone who enjoys merching or trading, this is an exclusive feature of non-reboot servers. With trading, you can access much more gear and resources easier if you have the miso or cash to afford it. You can also have the ability to trade gear between your characters, which makes main swapping much easier. The pinnacle gear/power of non-reboot servers is much higher than reboot because they have systems to enhance their gear/damage that reboot does not have, such as scrolling, bonus potentials, and red cards. Basically, non-reboot endgamers are much stronger than reboot endgamers, but the average non-reboot player is weaker than the average reboot player. There are more very specific differences between the two servers, but if you just want a general recommendation, I would recommend the reboot server to play on. Now that you've selected your world, you're going to have to create your first character. You'll see there are dozens of options and it can be overwhelming at first. Yet again, the game does a horrible job of describing what these classes do. The in-game stats you see on the top left of the character creation screen are complete garbage and tell you absolutely nothing about the class. There are some things I recommend considering before choosing a main character though. The first thing to know is that it is perfectly okay to not like the first character you play. Chances are you won't land on the right character immediately. The game actually rewards you more if you have a lot of characters on your account though. There are systems in place called Legion and Link skills that will increase the power of your account, but we'll cover those in different videos. I believe the most important thing to consider when looking for a main is to ask yourself if the class looks cool/interesting to you. Like literally visually, does this class look cool or interesting? Most of your experience on this game will be looking at your own class and its skills. If you don't like the aesthetic or vibe the character gives off, you will not enjoy it long term. So I would consider looking up videos on the class and see if you like how it looks in the game. Once you found some classes that you enjoy their looks, consider the class's kit. Now, what does that mean exactly? The class's kit is basically what functionalities does this class have? Is it easy to kill monsters with? Does it have a really strong burst skill? Does it have very fast movement? Is it easy to survive on? Stuff like that. Now, if you're a new player, you will not know any of these things. That's why you got people like me that you can ask these questions to. I highly recommend pulling up to my stream and ask whatever specific questions you want, no matter how dumb they might seem. You can also do your own research and look at what class Discord say or what other creators say. The least important consideration to make, but still should be considered, is whether the class is strong right now or not. So with over 50 classes in the game, there are naturally going to be some that are stronger than others. Now with balance patches, a top tier class can tank to the bottom just in one pack. So that's why I think it's the least important consideration. Top tiers always fluctuate, but a class's identity is generally always the same. I only bring this up because if you're in a position where you're choosing between two classes that both look appealing to you and have a great kit, but the only difference between them is that one is super strong right now and the other isn't, you might as well play the stronger one. There are direct benefits of playing a strong class in the game. You'll be much more desired in a party and progress faster. It's just the truth. But I honestly think it's the least important consideration because I've personally met a lot of people who even reached endgame before they realized they actually don't enjoy their class. Or one nerf happens to their main and all of a sudden they don't like playing it anymore. They only played it because it was OP and not actually fun to play. Hopefully, after considering all these things, you make a more informed decision on who to main on Maplestory. Just a reminder that it is perfectly okay to not like what you play at first, and that sometimes a class can change a lot after hitting level 200. So stick through with the class, I'd say, until at least level 200 200 before you jump ship if you don't like it. Also, don't feel afraid to ask for help. You can always pull up to my stream on Twitch if you have any questions, or leave a comment below. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to see more of them, and thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Thank you to my amazing members: Scuffed, Blazefire, Shooms, DVI Dan, Uju, Shagad, Relver, Ravi, Grim4K, and Koga. You guys are the goats.